Hey, what's up? Alex Walton here from Boss Life Blog, reporting to you from Lucca, Italy. Pretty nice little spot here. We're actually sitting on what's the equivalent of the wall to the city. We're in a walled city right now. If you've ever played Assassin's Creed, we call this Assassin's Creed land. This is a very important video, and I'm going to try to make it quick. I have some notes here. I'm going to use my notes. And the topic of this video is how you can overcome resistance to live your dream lifestyle. What is resistance? If you all have any kind of dream, if you have anything that you're hoping to do in your life, you're probably facing resistance to it. So this could really change your life, just this one idea. If you've never heard of it before, it could really help you out. So I actually got a question from my friend Dave. He's in Australia, he's starting a business, and he asked me, Alex, when you were starting your business, how did you overcome the resistance that it took to start your business? How did you actually, every day, have a crappy job? How do you get home from your job and work hard on your business without even knowing if it's going to work out? How do you do that? I'm facing a lot of resistance, he tells me. So I've written some notes here, and they're basically summarizing what resistance is, some examples of resistance so you can recognize it in your life and how to beat resistance. So we're going to be talking about that right now. And I'm going to first tell you a little bit, like I said, some examples. So if you've ever tried to do a workout program, new diet, start a business, new project, new habit, school projects, anything like that, you probably face resistance. I remember for me in school doing big projects, I'd usually wait till the last week because the resistance would be like, oh, just cool, just watch some TV now, do the project later. So resistance is really prevalent, and you'll notice it in everyone around you. Like I've said before to my friends and people around me, resistance is a dark, insidious force. It's like in Star Wars, it's like the dark side of you, so you'll feel it inside of you, and you'll also feel it from people around you, even friends and family of yours. If you say, for me, when I started my first business, it was very difficult. I was working 3 jobs, and I remember telling my friends and family, hey, I'm starting this business, and it's going to be an online business, and I'm really hoping that it's going to allow me to travel the world a little bit, because I was really hoping to travel the world. And people told me it's impossible. Good luck with that. You're not going to be able to do it. Only a very, very small percentage of entrepreneurs are able to start a successful business. Even my friends and family told me this, and they're the most supportive people in my life. So the resistance popped up even for them. And so you just have to be aware that you are going to feel resistance when starting anything new, when trying to achieve something, accomplish something new. And not only are you going to feel resistance towards this thing, but other people around you are going to put their resistance onto you, telling you that's impossible, you can't do it, and you have to be ready for that. So another thing about the resistance, nobody is immune. So you either fight the resistance or you surrender to the resistance. And you'll see people walking around and they have surrendered to the resistance, and they walk around basically in a walking daze, and they're not doing the things they want to do. They dream about a life that they'll never have, and the reason they'll never have it is because they don't take the actions toward it, because they let resistance control their life. So that's very important that you be aware of that. The battle against resistance, it never ends. It's a battle that you will fight every single day for the rest of your life, and it's worth it if you want to live your dream lifestyle. So another thing about the resistance is that it's strongest. The resistance is the most strong when you stand to gain the most. So I remember when I at first envisioned traveling around the world, I'm like, I need to find a way to make a business that lets me travel. It has to be online and it has to work. And I remember the resistance being so strong because I stood to gain everything. I stood to travel. I was able to, if I accomplished this goal, I was able to do everything that I ever dreamed of. And so the resistance was very strong here. So remember that point. Resistance is the most strong when you stand to gain the most. So when you're going after a goal that's big, that's important to you, you're going to feel a lot of resistance towards it. Very important to know that. Okay, now I'm going to tell you a couple of really important tricks that I've learned, and friends of mine have taught me about how you can beat the resistance. And these things really, if you just start to, some people are aware of these things, a lot of people know it, but if you have not become aware of these things, if you just implement these as soon as possible, I can guarantee you that within a few years you will start to manifest your dreams. And that's one of those kind of like weird woo-woo sort of terms, phrases that they talk about in The Secret and weird places like that, like manifest your dreams. But honestly, 2 years ago, I set a goal for myself, and I'm literally living that dream right now. And it took these tricks for me to get there. So, number one, surround yourself with positivity. So this is everything. This could include books, movies, websites, videos like this one, friends. That's the most important one. You have to find other fellow soldiers, as I call them, who are also fighting the resistance. You have to be around these people because they will help you to fight it together. If you are trying to start a business, for example, no one in your life has a business, and they're going to all tell you it's impossible, it's difficult. It's going to be so much harder to do it. It's already so hard to start a business, especially if you're like at a job that you hate and you come home and you're tired and you're depressed about your life, and then you have to find some kind of inspiration to work hard on this business, and people are telling you can't do it, you should just stop, just quit, just live an average life. It's already so difficult to do that, and the resistance is so strong because you stand to gain so much. So if you can find people who are positive and surround yourself with people who are also fighting the resistance, who are also fighting for their dreams, it'll make it so much easier for you to fight these challenges. Another important thing is deciding your values. I remember for many years of my life, I just didn't know what I valued. I didn't know what my value system was, or what was important to me in life. I basically was just living the life that was laid out in front of me, the life that my parents laid out in front of me in my school and everything like that, the average, normal, well-traveled path. I didn't know what was important to me. I just was on that normal path. And I realized that I was really unhappy traveling that path at some point. And when I finally decided what was important to me was travel, having new experiences, being inspired, being happy, meeting new people, trying new food, experiencing new cultures, and looking back ultimately upon my life and saying, you know, I gave it my all, I really enjoyed it, and there's nothing more that I could have done in those years. From the time that I decided to take control, I appreciated every moment, and it was all really amazing. I decided at one point that was important to me, and it's important to you to decide what your values are if you hope to live your dream lifestyle. So take some time and think about what's important to you, and then make sure you live accordingly to those values. Write a list, put it on your wall, make sure every day you're living according to those values. Another thing relating to the people in your life, the fellow soldiers against the resistance, is to hold yourself accountable and them accountable as well. And if you can create a circle of accountability and positivity, and you're all fighting this resistance together toward a common goal of living a dream lifestyle that you all hope to achieve, it's really going to make that battle that much more fun and that much easier to do, as opposed to if you're around people telling you you can't do it, it's impossible, just quit and give up, because that is going to make it very hard for you to fight the resistance. Okay, a couple little resources. The main resource actually that I recommend for you to fight the resistance is a book called The War of Art by Steven Pressfield. It's the way that I actually learned about the resistance, and I really recommend you checking it out. Usually, I prefer to watch videos as opposed to reading. I do like reading, but it's easier to watch videos. Even if you're not a reader, I highly recommend you check this book out. It's short. The pages, the chapters are simple, and honestly, it's one of the best books I've ever read. I recommend it to all my friends and all my clients, and it really is the Bible on beating the resistance. So I'm just doing my best to give you my perspective, but that's a way, way better, much more powerful resource on beating the resistance. Check that out. Steven Pressfield, I'll put a link below. I want to talk to you really briefly about the long-term solutions for beating the resistance. And this goes back to Dave's question, was how do you beat the resistance? And not only that, but how do you fuel your inspiration on a continual basis? This is something I'm very passionate about, this topic, because when I was working at 3 jobs and I was in a situation where I did not know whether I was going to be able to escape that situation, I was hopeless almost. Well, how do I get out of this? I didn't know anyone who was achieving their dreams. No one I knew in my life was really living up to the lifestyle that they hoped they would live up to, and I just felt honestly like I don't know if it's ever going to happen for me, and I'm living life, but I'm just walking through life. I'm basically like, I've heard the phrase before, sleepwalking through life. And that's how I felt. I was just day to day, just showing up to work for the paycheck, just mindlessly like getting dressed in the morning and doing my job and then going home, and just that was it. It just was no passion. There was no fire. There was no enjoyment. And we've been given this gift of life, and to not pursue the things that bring passion into our hearts is a tragedy, I think. So for me, fueling the passion, very important topic. Dave brought it up, so I want to give you a quick summary of that, and in the next video I'll give you a much more impassioned and in-depth understanding from my perspective of how to fuel your inspiration. So a couple of notes I've written down about fueling inspiration are, like I've said before, as far as choosing your values, you have to get very specific about the life you want. You have to decide in your mind, what would your life look like if you were living your dreams? Where would you be? What would you be doing? How would you feel when you woke up? What are you eating throughout the day? Who are you with? Where do you go throughout your day? For me, when I looked back upon when I first started out, it was I wanted to travel all around new places. I wanted to go to multiple countries. I wanted to see new cities, try new foods, talk to new people, learn new languages. It was a lot about variety and experiencing new things, because I'd grown up in the same place in California for many years of my life, and I'd experienced only a very limited amount of life, and I didn't feel like I had really learned that much about life, only a very limited thing. So for me, it was a lot about variety. But you have to think, for you, what is it for you in your life that inspires you? What do you want to do? If you had all the money in the world, if you had, being realistic, if you had freedom, what would you be doing waking up? And don't get too extravagant. I mean, obviously I love to dream about having 3 helicopters in places all over the world, and not to rule that out. It's not that to say it can't happen. It can happen if you work really hard for it, but that's not my point. My point is, what would it take for you to be happy right now, just to be living with passion? Maybe you have a hobby or something you really love to do, like music or some kind of sport activity. For me, it's traveling. Whatever it is, what is it for you that you would really love to do? If you had just enough to get by, enough to pay, you didn't have to go to work, you didn't have to worry about showing up to some job you hate or anything like that. What would your passion be, and what would that lifestyle look like? If you can get very specific about that, then I would recommend putting some kind of visual representation together. I put together a collage, I put it on my wall, and I looked at it every day. And for me, I looked at it every day and I said, I'm going to get there soon. And within a year and a half, I was literally in one of those places that I had posted on my wall. And now, 2 years since that point, I've been to a number of them, and many more. It literally, my dream has come true, and I'm literally living the dream that I set out for myself. The vision that I created is my reality now. And so you have to create a very specific vision, and I recommend creating a visual representation and putting it on your wall and looking at it every day, because that'll make it easier for you to remind yourself why you're doing this work and why you're putting in the extra effort to get there, because you'll remember, you'll feel the inspiration. You look at those pictures of whatever it is that inspires you, and you'll say, this is the reason I'm doing it. So it's important to have a visual representation, because otherwise resistance will convince you otherwise. It'll say, oh yeah, I know I'm thinking about this thing that I want to do, but I'm not going to be able to do it. Everyone else tells me it's impossible. I don't know anyone who's doing it. So whatever, your resistance will beat you. So have a visual representation that will remind you to keep plowing forward. The last thing I want to remind you to do is to create a negative vision for yourself. If you look at your life right now and you think about all the dreams you've had over the course of your life and all the things that you've tried to do and wanted to do and have not done because of resistance, think about yourself 10 years in the future. What would that lifestyle look like if you continued to let resistance rule your actions? So if you just disregard everything I've just spoken about and you decide to let the river take you where it does, and let the flow take you where you go, as opposed to taking control of the boat and swaying, moving around the rocks, then what is your life going to look like in 10 years? You know, what do you want to do now, and what's your life going to look like if you don't do any of those things? Probably you're not going to be very happy. Probably you're going to have some regret. Maybe you'll be sad or depressed. Probably it's not going to be good, as opposed to the other vision we just created, which is your dream lifestyle, right? So create a negative vision for yourself as well. And if you could create 2 visual representations of those both, you'll have a very clear idea. Look at them every day. You'll say, I know what my life is going to look like if I don't do these things today. I know what my life is going to look like if I do these things today. And then that will basically give you a roadmap of what the habits are that you need to start implementing to get you where you want to go. So much more of a serious topic than usual, but so important to living your dream lifestyle and enjoying yourself. It's a very intimate topic to me, and it's very important, and I think it's so key that if I hadn't learned these things, then I don't know where I'd be right now, but I can tell you I would not be living my dream lifestyle. And I share this with you now, not to bring you down or anything, but hopefully to build you up. And thinking about these things and using these tools that I've shared with you today can really turn your life around. And even if you're already living a really good lifestyle, it can give you the last few tips you need to take it to that next level, to take it to the level of, you know, your dreams and living your dreams. So that's it for me today. Alex from the Boss Life blog here in Lucca, Italy. Getting a bit dark now, lots of mosquitoes around. This is the Overcoming Resistance blog. The next one you can expect will be on fueling inspiration. It's going to be a lot more fun. Probably going to go to the beach for that one. It's going to be really good. I'm going to be in like a, you know, tank top, not instead of this really nice collared shirt and everything. So expect that out next, and I hope you use these tools to overcome resistance in your life and share these with those around you. And I hope that you can eventually live your dreams as I am now. And have a great day. Have a great life. Chat to you soon. Kisses and peace out. Kapow! So, this is in dedication to Charlie Arrington from Budapest, aka Money. This is how you do it. In England, you say it's like kapow.
Running out of battery.
You're like kapow.
Say it.
Kapow. You gotta go.
Kapow.